stop anyone from looking in at them. The garden is full of thistles and stinging nettles and is surrounded by a high hedge of twisted brambles with sharp thorns to keep everybody out. The reason for this is quite simple. Mr. and Mrs. Twit do not like other people. They don't even like each other. In fact, the list of things the Twits do not like is extremely long. It includes other people, being looked at by other people, talking to other people living next door to them, each other, washing. So, what do Mr. and Mrs. Twit like? That list is a lot shorter, and at the top of the list is this: playing horrible, mean tricks on each other. And that is exactly where our story starts. It was a fine, fresh morning in springtime. The sun had just risen, casting a golden glow over the big, dead tree that sat in a clearing on one side of the Twits' garden. Mrs. Twit was out and about bright and early that day, moving among the thistles with a large cloth-covered bucket clutched in one warty hand. She was wearing a tatty dressing gown and a wicked smile. This was because she was about to play a particularly painful prank on her horrible husband, one that she had been planning for several days. She was in such a good mood that she was even humming a merry little tune to herself, although to most of us it wouldn't have sounded very merry, or even much like a tune. It sounded like the screeching of rusty hinges.
Where are you, my little lovelies?
Croaked Mrs. Twit, her knobbly back creaking as she bent down to hunt for something among the nettles. When she straightened up, she was holding a jam jar that was absolutely full of angry, buzzing wasps. The previous day, Mrs. Twit had punched small holes into the lids of several jars and poured a small amount of honey into the bottom. This is how you make wasp traps. The wasps crawl inside to get at the honey, but can't find their way back through the holes. Carefully, Mrs. Twit unscrewed the lid of this first jar and tipped the wasps into her bucket, quickly putting the cloth back over the top. Then she moved on to her next trap. After half an hour, Mrs. Twit's bucket was absolutely full to the brim with wasps. There must have been hundreds of them in there. Her smile grew wider and more wicked still. Mrs. Twit opened the front door of the house softly and crept inside. As you can imagine, the inside of the Twits' house was just as nasty as the outside. Everywhere you looked, there was mess and neglect. Chairs were musty, the stairs were dusty, the oven was greasy, and the toilet... Well, we'll get to the toilet in a minute, but it's not going to be pretty. Mrs. Twit crept through the living room, across the kitchen, and into the bathroom. And an apology is probably in order at this point, because nobody wants to see inside Mr. and Mrs. Twit's bathroom. But it's part of the story, so we're just going to have to get through it somehow. As you can probably imagine, it's one of the worst rooms on the entire planet. For a start, as we already know, it doesn't have a window. Also, the bathroom has never been cleaned. Ever. Not once. But Mr. and Mrs. Twit didn't think it was horrible. They hate things that are bright and clean, so this dark, dank, dingy, dirty room was one of their favourites. Every morning, as soon as he got up, Mr. Twit would charge down the stairs straight to this bathroom and spend an hour sitting on the toilet and reading his newspaper.
Oh, hurry up in there, you smelly slop bucket!
Mrs. Twit would shout, hammering on the door with the stick she always carried. She didn't actually need a stick to walk. She just used it to thwack things.
Leave me alone,
the muffled voice of Mr. Twit would reply from the other side of the locked door.
I'm reading my newspaper. I need to go,
Mrs. Twit would screech.
I don't care,
Mr. Twit would reply, smirking.
You'll have to cross your legs.
This happened every morning for several years, and finally, an idea for revenge had come to Mrs. Twit. Today, she was putting her plan into action. Tiptoeing into the bathroom, she lifted the